And this is not any kind of a radio program that you've ever heard before in your life. For nothing is sacred here. And we're going to lay it all on the line. We're not going to beat around the bush. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. There's nobody here that's afraid of anyone or anybody or anything. We have no vested interest in a career in radio. So if we get thrown off the air, it's not going to bother us a bit. Therefore, we're not going to compromise what we say to stay on the air, irregardless of the pressure that may be put upon us. We're going straight through with it, folks. Those of you who listen to the program regularly are going to be better informed than anybody else in the face of this earth.
And now, from Lumber TV Studios, it's the Jungle Apocalypse with Rob and Jim.
Hey folks, it's Rob Davin from the Jungle Apocalypse here with you, and this is your Friday show. Tonight, we got an interview with Scott from the Believers Underground. I'm just going to prepare you folks. It's one hell of an interview. I gotta say, out of all the interviews we've done thus far, this is the one that surprised me the most. I knew Scott was going to be a good guest, but I had no idea that I would leave it so shaken. It really did rock me to the core, and, well, Scott does spread a lot of love with it, but man, some scary shit. Anyway, let's hit the news. And here's your Jungle Apocalypse news for June 18th. 2010, with your host, Jimbo.
A 6-story statue of Jesus Christ was struck by lightning and burned to the ground, leaving only a blackened steel skeleton and pieces of foam that were scooped up by curious onlookers Tuesday. The King of Kings statue, one of Southwest Ohio's most familiar landmarks, has stood since 2004 at the Evangelical Solid Rock Church along Interstate 75 in Monroe, just north of Cincinnati. North Korea warned of an all-out military strike to destroy South Korean loudspeakers and other propaganda tools along their fortified border, according to the North's state-run Korean Central News Agency. South Korea's preparation for psychological warfare is a, quote, direct declaration of war, end quote, against the North, the General Staff of the Communist States military said today in a statement on KCNA. The North's military retaliation may turn Seoul into, quote, a sea of flame, end quote, the statement said. The South has already installed loudspeakers in 11 places along the border and is attempting to set up electronic displays, according to the statement. South Korea hasn't detected any abnormal activities near the border area with the North, Yonhap News said following the KCNA report today, citing South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff. The San Diego Padres game was temporarily stopped and a large swath of Southern California was rocked when at least 24 earthquakes struck Monday night near the U.S.-Mexico border in San Diego County, but there was no damage reported, officials said. The largest quake, with a 5.7 magnitude, which was felt throughout Los Angeles County, was reported at 9:26 p.m., the U.S. Geological Survey said. The survey agency said that all the quakes were concentrated 5 miles southeast of Ocotillo in San Diego County and 16 miles east-northeast of Jacumba in eastern San Diego County. Experts believe that all the earthquakes were aftershocks of a 7.2 quake that rocked Mexico's Baja California peninsula April 4th and killed at least one person. The third small to moderate earthquake in about 14 hours struck the Southern California desert Sunday, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. The latest quake was a 3.0 temblor that struck around 9:44 a.m. and was centered on the Mexican boundary 9 miles south-southeast of Ocotillo, the U.S. Geological Survey reported. It was on the same series of faults that triggered the magnitude 7.2 Easter Sunday quake about 20 miles to the southeast in Baja California. Two Saturday night shakers about 40 miles north in the Anza Borrego Desert were also widely felt across San Diego County at 10:09 p.m. Saturday. The U.S. Geological Survey reported the first was registered 4.9 and the second, 24 seconds later, was 4.5, both located 10 miles north-northwest of Borrego Springs. The epicenter was 32 miles south-southeast of Palm Springs. Scientists in the Netherlands unveiled the largest radio telescope in the world on Saturday, saying it was capable of detecting faint signals from almost as far back as the Big Bang. The LOFAR, that's Low Frequency Array, consists of 25,000 small antennas measuring between 50 centimeters and 2 meters across, instead of a traditional large dish, said Femke Bokhorst of the Netherlands Radio Astronomy Institute. It is based near the northeastern Dutch town of Assen, but the antennas are spread out across the rest of the Netherlands and also in Germany, Sweden, France, and Britain. Today we have launched the biggest radio telescope in the world. When you combine all the antennas, you get a giant telescope with a diameter of about 1,000 kilometers, Bokhorst told AFP. The observations that we will be able to make will allow us to learn more about the origin of the universe, back to the moment right after the Big Bang, she added. The data gathered by the telescope will be dealt with by a supercomputer at the University of Groningen, and then transmitted to the Institute.
Alright everybody, tonight with us we have Scott from Believers Underground on YouTube, and he's got some really interesting information that's really pertinent to what's going on in the world right now. So Scott, thanks for coming by.
No problem.
So, Scott, I've been watching your videos on YouTube for quite a while now, and I'm going to be honest to say that when I first saw it, I thought you were crazy. I thought that you had no clue and were just one of these guys that was making it up. Little did I know that looking back over all your information, you were pretty dead on. So, how did you get started doing the YouTube videos?
Well, I never watched YouTube or anything. I'm a reader. My kids did YouTube, and then I had so much information. I was like, you know what? I put this grant in with USGS, and it got validated, and I don't know what was going on with that, but I go, you know what? I can't wait. So I started putting them up on YouTube. But I also knew that with this stuff, I was going to have to lay down the groundwork for months and months and months, and I figured I might as well have some fun with it. And so that's what I did. If you go through all the old links and stuff, it has all the stuff on all the radioactive stuff all over the place. And it's a joke. In that ice, it's a runaway. And the fractures on it. I was just lining it out. And I'd do little, 40 earthquakes in the next 3 months, 6.0 or greater. And, I'd throw one of those out. And then I'd go, okay, 80 earthquakes and 250,000 dead in the next 6 months, and throw one out like that so they could, say, hey, man, wait a second. What the heck? How come he's so, why he's doing that? He's predicting this stuff. And I mean, this is just pressure and weight. And boy, this world is totally deceived. I got on YouTube and I'm going, holy smokes, I was listening to all the different stuff. And I am very thankful and grateful to all the truthers that came before me. I mean, they laid down a huge audience to get this information out pretty quickly, even though it took a lot of months to finally get my first 1,000 subs. And that was like 6 weeks ago. And I think I was at 1997 just right now before the show. So I'll hit 2,000, so it's starting to take off exponentially. But it has nothing to do with me. It's the information. I mean, holy smokes. We're in trouble.
So you started uncovering this information. The thing I've heard you talk about the most was Post Glazier Rebound. What is Post Glazier Rebound?
Well, around 14,000 years ago, when you had all those woolly mammoths freeze and, with buttercups still in their stomach, all that weight pushed down all those continents and depressed them. I mean, that's a lot of weight. Now, as this weight leaves those continents start to rebound.